Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast. My podcast about immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. Welcome back, guys. New week, new episode. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope it was fun, enjoyable, and I hope this year has been showing that this is the year that we're going to bounce back. So, before we get into the show, I just want to remind you where you can contact me on my Facebook page, An Immigrant's Life podcast, on Instagram at An Immigrant's Life, on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen your podcast, and on YouTube as well, An Immigrant's Life. For the ones that are listening and watching, please click that subscribe button. It really helps out. And for the ones that who has already, thank you very much. So business is out of the way. Let's talk about the episode. This episode is an inspiring one, and it will inspire you to fight for what is right. Fight for what you believe in, no matter what, who you're going to hurt. Follow your heart, and that's what's important. I also want to mention that my guest has 3 dogs, and there was a few times that the dogs kind of got out of hand and they started barking. So please excuse those parts. But other than that, this episode is really, really good. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today our guest is one badass chick. She can change a diaper with one hand and load a gun with the other. She's an awesome mommy and a real-life G.I. Jane. Everyone, please welcome Chris Jugo.
What up?
What's going on, Chris?
Hey, it's going. How's everybody going?
We're doing good. How are you guys doing? That's the better question. How are you guys doing there?
Doing great. I mean, other than sleepless nights and endless diaper changing, we're doing great. we're handling it the best that we can.
That's awesome. All right, let's start hot. Where were you born, Chris?
So I'm born in Tanay Rizal, Philippines. Born and raised there actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't leave the Philippines permanently until I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah. The first time I left the Philippines, though, I was 11, but my mom kicked me back to the Philippines because I was having culture shocks, which is not good.
All right, let's slow it down a little bit. You said you're Tanay. Where do you live now?
Right now, I am currently stationed in Phoenix, Arizona as an Army recruiter.
Hoorah.
Yep. It's actually you killed me with that one. That's the Marine Corps.
It shows that I'm an idiot, all right? Give me a minute.
No, you're good. Because sometimes it's like hoorah and hooah, and I'm like, it's the same thing. It's like it's the same motivational shout.
There's really a difference, like hoorah and hoo-ha?
There is.
Wow,
Believe it or not, there is. So the Army is hooah, and then the Marines is hoorah.
Really?
I just don't. Yeah, I just don't say it. I just don't say it. I just say hooah. Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
Like Roger that.
Mm-hmm. You said you were 10 when you moved to America?
We tried to move to America. Well, they tried to move me to America when I was 10. And then I enrolled in middle school. And somehow, at that very young age, I'm losing a little grip of the Filipino culture. I was in California with my mom and my dad. And what happened was, so I was in middle school, and I guess I was wilding out at that time. You know how it is, man. You know how it is. So I'm losing that culture as a Filipino kid. Nawawala yung the manopos, the opos were slowly fading, or I guess quickly fading. Mm-hmm. And my mom didn't appreciate that. She didn't like it. So she was like, you know what? Time to go back home.
How old were you then when she sent you back?
I was turning 11.
Holy shit, man. So you just got to the U.S.?
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, you know what? Fuck this. Go back.
Yep. Literally what happened.
1 minute. Let's go back a little bit. When you said you're going through culture shock, what do you mean by that?
So culture shock, the way I was dressing up was like, like I'm a gangster in LA. Oh yeah, brother. When they say lowrider, I was wearing lowrider pants. Yep.
Those the big pants ones Back.
Oh yeah, I look like a Asian lesbian Eminem walking around LA. And then one time my mom was like, "Can you pull that pants up?"
Hmm.
And I was like, "No, this is I guess I was trying to fit in with American kids. I don't want to look weird. I'm trying to make friends. I'm trying to, I'm not trying to single out myself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started talking different. I started listening to different songs that I'm not even at that age,
Hip
not even
hop.
supposed to listen. Oh yeah, heavy hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
Eminem,
Mm.
name it. Like I was rapping Eminem on the bus.
Okay. What? What year was this happening?
That was 2001.
Okay.
I was in middle school, and yeah,
Wow. And you were just wilding out, like you said.
bad. I guess it was bad. I thought I was cool. I thought I was doing well. I got friends walking around with my CD player, listening to Eminem, Lip Bizkit, Green Day, and all that.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, I was wearing my baggy pants, lowrider. And it's like you pull it up, you got to put it halfway on your butt. And then you wear your loose shirt and you start walking around like you're
Yeah.
yeah.
I wore those too.
Yeah, and you know how it is, like like conservative moms are like, "What the hell are you wearing? Change that." Like, no, I like this.
Mm-hmm. Were you out as a lesbian by then, or?
Um, I It's funny because they were always asking me if when did I came out, and I never had a specific answer to that because I actually never went out. I was out, I guess, when I was really young, dude. Like, if you see me when I was 7, I was already like playing basketball. I got my basketball shorts, walking around naked and all that. I was hanging out with the boys. I had a Barbie doll at that point. I remember, but I shaved the Barbie doll. Yeah, I mean, I have no specific answer if I even came out because it was never a conversation between me and my parents, not even my friends. That hey, I'm actually gay or I'm actually lesbian. No, I just showed up as the way I want.
Mhm. Did your family knew? Like, did they have a feeling? You know, some people they're like, "Oh, this
Yeah,
guy."
yeah. Oh yeah, they do. But
Mm.
um, I'd say my mom was the one who's in on a big time denial period. Like she was like, "Yeah, you're
Mm.
just you're confused. You're in a phase." And I was like, oh, Mom, I like girls. I don't think I'm confused. I don't think I'm confused. You're the one confused. I'm not. But
That's
yeah,
funny, man. Were you fluent in English the first time you came to America?
no. I was
No.
horrible. I was bad. Then that's why and that's the reason why I didn't have that much friends, and I was trying to fit in with, at least I'm trying to fit in with the way they dress, the way they act. Because I remember, I actually talked to my guidance counselor because I no one's talking to me because they think I don't speak English.
Mhm.
So I asked my guidance counselor at that point, like, hey, can you take me to a classroom where there's at least one Filipino that I can talk to? I mean, that Filipino kid doesn't need to speak Tagalog as long as she or he understands me because we have a common ground. Then I'll take it. And then he did. He sent me to a music class, and the teacher over there was Filipina, and then I got 3 Filipina classmates. It was good.
Mhm. You felt at home.
Oh yeah, and that's when I started wilding out.
And then mom was like, "All right, fuck this. You're going back."
Oh yeah. She said, you're putting gel in your hair. Go back home.
So when she sent you back, was it only you that she sent back?
I know they dropped me off. Like we all, like all 3 of us went back to the Philippines.
Mm.
So they dropped me off to the Philippines and they stayed for a couple more years in the Philippines with me just to make sure that I'm set. And then after that, yeah.
And you went to high school in the Philippines?
Yes. And I remember it was kind of rough at that point because I came back around December, January time.
Mm.
So I literally lost half of the school year already for my original batch that I left with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure you were confused because you were just trying to adjust in the life in America, and then you went back again,
Hmm.
and you're like, what is happening right now?
I kind of figured at that point why, because I know I was wilding and acting out.
At that time, did you find it hard to go to school in the States or in the Philippines?
For me, it's a lot harder to study in the US at that time because I'm coming from another country with perfectly different backgrounds and knowledge about how school goes. And then when I went to the States, enrolled me to a school, I didn't know that I have a home classroom, that I need to change classroom because I'm so used to just having one classroom and the teachers are the one changing shifts, right? But then I didn't know, and I wasn't informed well, or maybe I didn't understand because I wasn't good in English, that, oh, after this class, I have to go to another class, to another classroom. So I was just there in the classroom wondering, I was like, why is everybody leaving? Why is everybody leaving? Where am I going after this? Is my class done? I was like, it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, like the problem that I have at that point was I wasn't, I was that kid that you put me in the room, I'm just gonna stay there the whole time. I wasn't venturing out. And then, it was a whole lot of confusion and pressure for me at that point.
Do you think because you didn't have the command of the English language?
Yes, yes. And I was really quiet at that point because I know I'm a foreigner. I know I'm in a different land or a different country. I don't have any friends. And I don't know how I'm gonna react to my classmates, or how my classmates are gonna react to me. So I was very, I'd say, careful with how I act or how I speak.
So when they sent you back to the Philippines, how did you feel about that?
Oh, I feel like it's freedom too.
Really?
Yeah, because I actually miss my classmates.
Mm.
I missed going to school where I was going to the whole time. I missed I missed the smell of the Philippines, especially from where I came from. I miss that smell of, like, when it's raining, the smell of dirt. When the rain drops on dirt. I miss the gloominess. We looking at the rice field. It's a different feeling, man. It's a different
Yeah.
feeling here in the States. I mean, I walk from the house to the bus stop. I ride the bus. I walk again for about a block or two, and then that's school. That's it. There's no sightseeing. It's all houses and
No.
cars. So,
Yeah, I know. There's no like you said, no freedom. You can just from here to the other side of the town. And you're like 6 years old. You're gonna be fine.
mhm.
You're not, no, nothing's gonna bad will happen to you. No one will abduct you. Nothing. That's just how it is. So when you went back to the Philippines, did you suffer through reverse culture shock?
Yes, it's not really a culture shock, because I mean that's just kind of like going back home to me. Like, hey, I'm back home. I'm gonna act the way I was before. That's cool. But catching up with school and everything, I remember this. We have this Filipino class, and I was sitting down with my homeboys, and then my name got called by the Filipino teacher, and he was literally asking me, "What's a Tagalog for summary?" And I don't know that word in Tagalog.
Yeah.
And
Nobody knows.
yeah, well, it's a deep Tagalog. So I was like
Yeah.
looking left and right to my classmate, and then my classmate was like, "Make it short." Whatever he said, make it short.
That's
So
good.
I mean, it kind of made me feel dumb in a way, because I was like, "Damn, man, am I that far behind from school? Like, this is Tagalog, this is Filipino class. I would flunk everything but this." That was I don't know if it's culture shock, but it's like having a hard time again with catching up with school, because I don't know. Like I said, I came in half of the school year already. So whatever the batch is already studying, I'm catching up on them. So
Yeah. Let me just explain something because some people doesn't know that in the Philippines we start school in June, right?
yes, somewhere June or July.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like Chris said, we even though we're Filipinos, we actually study Filipino, the language, which I hate that subject. So other than school, socially you're fine?
Socially, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's like I said, it's like coming home to my friends again, and they didn't treat me any differently. They were like, "Oh, you're back again.
Oh, this dude.
Where you been?" But they were cool with me and
Where's
everything.
my
And
chocolate?
oh, it's kind of like that. I couldn't remember the exact words, but it's kind of like that. And they were actually helping me out with catching up with the schools and everything, so that was
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Were you hanging out with girls or boys?
I'm like in the middle, actually.
Hmm.
I hung up more with the girls that I'm hanging out are like the conservative ones. It's funny.
Conservative.
They're so conservative, right? They're the type of girls that they always had a handkerchief in the pocket, and then they got lip on my pie. They got, they just look clean every time. They're not wilding out and all that. With the guys I hang out with, I guess I hang out with the very unique guys, the guys that like tech decks, the skateboards, you know.
That's awesome, man. But and did you have a girlfriend then?
Oh, bro, no. I could.
Why?
No. So I'll give a history with that school, right? The school that I
Mm,
went to. So the owner of that school is
mm.
actually one of my mom's good friends, very very close friends. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I never had a girlfriend, because I know she's gonna snitch on me. Because I mean, they're on the phone all the time, man. They're on the phone all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know if I do something stupid in school, it's gonna be an ass whooping night. I'm just gonna say it. So I was very careful. I was very I was very careful with everything that I do.
Mm.
I'm gonna be talking to a lot of people, but I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna be a
Oh.
tomboy, but I'm not gonna hang out with other girls just to be, just to, I guess, have them as my girlfriend. I couldn't do it that time. I
Mm.
remember I had a crush when I was in second year high school,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in third year high school.
Mm-hmm.
And in my school, they have like the van service where they pick up students from different locations in our province.
Mm-hmm.
So third year and second year, we first year and second year high school, we come in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But then the third year and the fourth year high schools, they come in probably around like 10 or 11, somewhere between that time. And then I swear to God, whenever that white van pulled up, what I do is I stand up, look into the window, because I could see her from the window. And I was like praying to God, oh my God, just look at me, just look at me. I'm looking at you, But she did it. That's how I am with my crush. They call it in the Philippines, we call it silay, right? We
Mm-hmm.
just call it
Yep,
silay,
yep.
baka silay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I did write my crush a letter at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a crush letter. It's not like I'm telling her that, oh, I think I love you. It's not even that. It's friendly letter. Like I'm literally telling her, can we be friends?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what happened at that time. But I got called in the office. So somebody snitched on me. I got called in the director's office. So I was like, oh damn, that was just one letter. That was one letter. So I went to the
Wow.
office. I know. I went to the office and I saw the directress, and my crush was on the other side of the table. And from that point, I knew what it was all about. I just know.
Hmm.
And the directress of the school lifted up the letter and she asked me, "Did you do this?" I
Hmm.
mean, how can I deny that? It's my penmanship and my name on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally me. And I was like, well, shit, yeah, it's me, right? And I guess from that point, she called my mom and she told my mom what's going on. She said that I'm having crushes and all that to girls, and
Hmm.
my mom being mom, conservative mom.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a horrible night. It turned to be a horrible night for me. And after that, I learned my lesson. You know what? I ain't writing no letters no more.
Push those
I
feelings down.
I mean, I didn't push the feelings down. I was still doing the stand up thing and at the band. I was still looking at her until she graduated, actually.
You
But
never
I
shot your
never,
shot. I mean,
I
other than like.
no, I didn't do anything. Like after that, you know what? I have no friends in the school. Like somebody snitched on me. Somebody did.
Somebody.
Yep.
Man, that's rough, man.
Yep.
So you mentioned that you went to high school in the Philippines,
Yes,
but did you
yes.
go to college in the Philippines too?
Yes, I actually did. I actually did went to college in the Philippines, and it was there was a lot of things that happened at that time. My dad actually went on. He had I guess, a horrible hypertension, almost going to a stroke. We were supposed to go to this university in Lucban, Quezon. That's the actual place that I want to study, the province. And while on our way over there, he started having, this difficulty of breathing and all that. And yeah, it was like midnight. It was a bad experience. So instead of going to the school, we went straight to the hospital. Went to the hospital, we went home, and then my dad had to give up his job.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a rough time after that. And me and my mom just kind of decided that, hey, you know what? Let's
Wow.
forget about the university in Quezon because we wouldn't be able to afford the boarding for the
Mm.
room. We wouldn't be able to afford a lot of things for my education. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Send me somewhere close. So I went to Tomas Claudio in Morong,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Sorry, let me just explain. This is a college that is in a town that is 2 towns away from my hometown, Tanay.
I studied nursing, and it was great. It was great. It was the course of my mom. My mom chose that course for me.
Oh, I can tell.
I I Filipinos, man. Goddamn Filipinos, man. My mom literally told me face to face, she was crying, "You're going to study nursing. This is my dream for you. I planned this when you were a kid." And I was like, "You didn't even ask me."
What is it with Filipinos in nursing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's up with it. I mean, it's a good job.
It
I mean,
is.
really, it's a good job.
But why not
It's a
aim for a
very.
doctor?
I mean, if you tell me to be a doctor, I was like, you lose your mind, bro. I don't even know how I graduated high school. So
I don't even know the Filipino word for summary.
yeah, right. So she was because there was a point in my college days in the Philippines where I told my mom like I'm
Mm.
done. I'm done. I'm done studying nursing. I gave you a good first
Mm-hmm.
semester. I aced all my subject. But when I got to the second semester where I was, experiencing the actual nursing class, it's not the general education anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can do this, but it's just that I don't find my heart in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's my college days, man. It's rough. It's rough. My first semester was
Mm-hmm.
good. The second semester, I had to move to another school, and I started hanging out with the wrong crew. I wouldn't say the wrong crew. It's just a crew that I think I don't fit. Like their way of spending college days are not the way that I want
Mm-hmm.
to. So that's when I kind of lost myself, and I was like, I called my mom, and I was like, I'm done. I'm really done with college. I'm really done with nursing. If you want, I'll go, like, I'll study something else that I want. I want to be a police in the
Mm.
Philippines. I want to be a
Okay.
cop. I do. That's my dream. That was my dream. I want to be a cop in the Philippines or a soldier in the Philippines. I That's what I want to do. But then my mom, she was like, "Do you know that they do hazing?" I was like, "Well, I don't want to experience that."
Okay. So you got scared.
Scared, and I guess I didn't get the support that I was needing.
Mm.
So I was like, I'm done. Just bring me back to the States. And that's when she took me back to the
Oh,
States.
okay. All of you guys or just you?
At that point, it was just me because both my mom and dad is already in the
Oh,
States.
okay. And who was taking care of you?
It was my eldest sister and actually my two
Okay.
brothers.
So how old are you when you moved back to the States?
I was 18. The reason why like I had that kind of courage to move back to the States is because I was already 18. I can make decisions for my own.
Hmm. Before we could move on, I just want to ask you, do you think being sent back was the right thing to do, or you could have just forgone that?
I think it's the right thing to
Mm.
do because, like I said, like I didn't know that I was changing. I didn't. I mean, I didn't want to lose my Filipino culture. I don't want to lose that. But I was kind of like in the middle of trying to fit in. So it was the right thing to do because it still gave me an option to feel free, because I felt like when I was in the States, I wasn't being me. I was being somebody that's trying to fit in. But when they sent me back home, I was hanging out with my old crew. I was hanging out with, the classmates that I grew up with. It felt good. And I had a lot of good experiences in the Philippines, actually.
That's awesome.
So,
So, from the Philippines, you went to the States, you suffered culture shock, you went back and suffered reverse culture shock. Now you're back to the States again and you're going through reverse culture shock again.
no.
No, you're good?
This time I'm good. This time I'm good. Maybe because I was, I was grown. I was grown. I wasn't looking for any acceptance anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My thing back then is I just want to run away from the Philippines, from my old group, from I guess I guess I was going through depression because I felt like I was lost from doing something that I don't want to do, and that was nursing.
So, when you went back to America, did you go to school?
No. I wanted to go back to school at that point. I wanted to study now in the States, but my mom was like, "No, you're here just here for vacation. You're gonna finish
No
nursing."
way.
So yeah. And then one day, my ticket was already there, going back home to the Philippines. And I told my mom, you know what? I'm going to Chicago.
At that time, where were you?
I was in California with my mom.
Okay.
So I told my mom, I need to grow. I need to find what I want to do, whether that's staying here or going back to the Philippines. I need to find it. I need to figure it out on my own. I don't need anybody telling me what to do, because right now I'm 18. I can literally do what I want to do. So I decided to go to Chicago. I stayed there with my aunt. And I guess that's where actual life happened to me. That's the real America life happened to me. I decided to work in Chicago. Well, my aunt sent me to school first. She sent me to a CNA, like a certified nursing assistant
Not
class.
being the nurse
Yep.
still.
Yep.
But at least you're away from the pressure.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, because I gotta start from something. I gotta start from something. I don't have anything under my belt at that point, so I'll take it. So I studied CNA, and then that's when I met a lot of friends, and that's when I applied first time ever, and applied for as a CNA, because that's when I felt like nothing is free in America. I have bills, I'm still trying to give some to my aunt. And then again, working relentlessly, like working hard and hustling in Chicago was the best lesson I've had in America, because I noticed like, oh yeah, I'm hustling. I had 2 to 3 jobs, like I'm set, I'm good, I'm enjoying it. I'm going out with my friends and stuff. But every time I look at my bank account, I wasn't saving enough. I wasn't. Because every time, I worked to party.
Yeah, sure. You were young.
Yeah, I was exploring, I guess. I was enjoying my life. And that's when I was like, you know what? I gotta do something else. I gotta make a big move. That's when I decided, like, I should join the military. Because I did talk to somebody, like I did talk to a recruiter back in California about it, but I was like, I chickened out. Like, what the fuck? Why are you asking me? Like, for one, I'm 5'1". Have you seen the soldiers? They're like 6 feet forever.
6 feet, 300 pounds, pure muscles.
Exactly. But I chickened out because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm 5'1". I'm barely 125 pounds. Like, I don't, like, my English is not that good. I'm not a citizen. I was just an immigrant. And what do I know about the military in the States? Nothing. I don't even know the difference between the Marines, the Navy. I didn't know the difference. I just, fuck it. All I know is
They're
the
the
Army.
guys with the gun that protects us. That's it.
Exactly. I didn't know that there's a difference between a sailor and an airman. I didn't know. So I was like, you know what? I think I should go back to
Mm-hmm.
California. This is good. This is good because I'm working the way I'm supposed to, but I don't feel the fulfillment. I don't feel satisfied with it. So yeah, I decided to go back to
And
California.
sign up.
Yep, I signed up.
How did that feel? Like your actual calling in life, you finally achieved it.
Yep, finally did. So the story behind that was I did everything paperwork wise. My mom didn't know that I was talking to a recruiter, neither my dad. And then when they found out, I already signed up. I just told them I went back. Yeah, I know.
She must.
It's like having a tattoo, man. It's like having a tattoo, bro. Like you don't tell them that you want a tattoo or you're getting a
Mhm.
tattoo until there's a tattoo
That's right.
already.
Like, what do they say? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Yep, exactly. So I went home. I have my contract. Like I got a whole manila folder packet
Who?
envelope, hold in, and I just told my mom like I ship on February 5. Yeah, that was I think that was
Hmm.
September of 2011, and I literally told her I ship February 5 of 2012, and she was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And then I showed her the
Mhm.
contract.
Oh my God.
Dude, she didn't talk to me for a
She didn't try to
month.
hit you?
No, she like I guess it was that kind of pissed off and mad
Um,
that she didn't do anything. Like she just walked
or
away.
maybe she
She didn't talk
knew
to me for
that
a
that
month.
was the right thing. That was your thing. And she's actually allowing you to, like, you know what? That's her. I'm pissed, but I know that's her thing. That will make her happy.
Yeah, I hope it's that. I hope it's that because at that point, like I just feel like that's not that it's my only option. It's just that that's the big move that I want to do. That could turn my life around.
Hmm.
So I showed her my contract. I showed my dad my contract, and the first thing my dad asked was, "So what are you gonna do in the army? Are you gonna fucking like kick doors and shoot people or what? Like what are you gonna do?"
Kick door and shoot people.
So I was like, "No, just because you're a soldier doesn't mean that you're gonna kick doors or shoot people. I mean, that's what I want to do if given a chance. That would be cool because that's actually the nature of the beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I at that point the army is not allowing females to join in combat
Oh.
jobs. Yeah. So so I had to explain to him the kind of job that I have. So
Mm.
kind of like to comfort him as well
Mm.
and calm him down. And I told him like I'm not deploying. I'm going to Fort Jackson, North
Mm. Okay.
Carolina for the boot camp, for the basic training.
No. And how was boot camp?
Looking back, man, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was an experience.
Mm.
You asked me at that point, if you asked me back in February 5, 2012, I'm gonna tell you, fuck this. But then looking back, I was like, damn, that was an experience.
Wow.
It was a good experience. Honestly, I felt family there for the first time. I felt family in the army, and I know my boss, a week ago, he was asking me. He got curious. He was like, "Did you experience any discrimination in the military? Was it easier for you to be in the civilian side as what you are or who you are, or did it did it become easier for you in the military?" And I told him, you know what? I've been in the army for 8 years. Never, ever had I experienced any type of discrimination.
Mm. That's amazing.
My first ever discrimination experience was in civilian life.
Wow. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So me and my wife, we went to New York for a vacation, and we were walking around Times Square, and I'm short, so we were in this stoplight, and I looked to my left, and the first thing that I saw was this big, like, tall guy. Looking at his chest. First thing I saw was a cross.
Mm.
I was like, oh, religious, right?
Mm.
Cool. And then I looked up and I saw him, and he gave me this look, the disgusted look. Yeah. So being someone in the military, we were taught so well to always think about our actions. That before you act on anything, or say anything, don't think this. It's messed up in a way. Don't think about just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the army, because at the end of the day, if I did something to that guy or said something to that guy in the newspaper or in the news, it's not gonna be, oh, Christine Arable Jugo did this or said this to this guy in Times Square, New York. It's gonna be U.S. Army soldier, yada yada yada,
Mm-hmm.
did this to a civilian. So they don't care about my name. I know that, but what they're gonna look at is the army. Oh, that's the type of soldiers they got. So I had to stop. I had to like find whatever. I had to experience this anyway. I had to experience at least once, because this is the type of, to truth be told, this is a type of environment that I would have come across anyway.
It's so weird. It's in New
So
York.
it's in New York, and that's the most fucked up part. It's in New York. I was, I will tell that. I'm gonna get lost with this, but it's in New York. And then I was holding my wife's hand, and then my wife noticed it. My wife, she's a civilian. She don't give a damn. She don't give a shit.
She ready.
Oh yeah. Oh, her ears were red. She was fuming. And bro, she saw him looking at me disgusted. And what she did was she went right in front of me and kissed me right in front of me.
What a power move.
Yeah, like literally kissed me in front of him. And it's so messed up because you know what happened next? This guy, bro, in the middle of Times Square, New York, started yelling, "Abomination!"
Abomination. You guys are going to hell.
Exactly, bro. Bro, in the middle of Times Square, that motherfucker just started yelling. Abomination, abomination. You guys are going to hell. Jesus will not accept you for. I was
That's
like,
messed up.
I look at my wife and I'm like, see what you did?
We could have just
She
walked.
was like, I don't give a shit. This is my wife. This is my wife. And she said, I don't give a damn. I pay my taxes.
I love it.
She was like, I pay taxes.
But yeah, the problem is if he start attacking us, I'm going to have to deal with him, not you.
Yeah. And then, so we started walking away, and this guy's still yelling. We started walking away, and I would say about 3, and they're not even gay, 3 couples, American couples, walked towards us and told us that don't worry about him. He doesn't represent New York.
I love that.
Don't worry about him. He's cuckoo on the head. And then the best thing that we had that day was somebody told us, keep it strong, guys. Like at the end of the day, just love each other. Don't worry about those kind of people.
Yeah, exactly. You're just living life. You're not hurting nobody, you know? But yeah, where did you meet your wife?
Okay. Oh, God. Here we go. So back in 2013, I was in Afghanistan.
Okay.
And I went through kind of like depression and, you know, family separation. I was going through a breakup as well. And it was a lot of rocking with me. And I had a friend, she's like my shock absorber. So that friend of mine, I was talking to her one night, and she's in a birthday party of my crush. This is totally different person, my crush. So I just called her to kind of greet my crush and all that. And then all of a sudden, she was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to pee.
Okay.
But I don't want to drop the call. So she handed her phone to my wife.
No way.
That's the first time that we actually talked.
And you don't know her?
No, I don't. Never talked to her. Yeah, I just heard that, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Just keep talking to her. She's in Afghanistan.
It's so random.
So it was awkward.
Yeah, you're like staring at someone you don't know.
And she was drunk too.
Oh,
so she was like smiling and smirking. She was like, you're kind of cute. I was like, well, thank you. But she's kind of drunk.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the first time we actually like talked. And it was very brief. And then she added, you know, like I added her on Facebook, and then, you know, I still didn't talk to her at that point, you know, when it's just like a common friend.
Sure, yeah.
So one time I guess she was going through a breakup as well. So she started posting sad little codes and all
Mm.
that. And me being me, I sent her a message. I was like, hey, you good and all that. And that kind of started that conversation. And it went on until that was when I met her, that was around summertime. And that conversation that we had went on until like the next year, which is 2014. And yeah, that's how we met.
I love the story. Thank you for sharing.
She was, we were talking, and we were kind of like, I was kind of like dating her,
Mhm.
virtually dating her, and all she hears was this alarm saying rocket attack, rocket
Oh
attack.
my fucking god.
It was horrible, man. And she was like, are you guys good? I was like, yeah, it's a rocket attack. I mean, the
Yeah,
first month in
just rockets
Afghanistan,
that might explode us, but we're good.
bro, like, dude, yeah, no, for real. Like, first month in Afghanistan, it was wild, bro. Like, we were like all fucking like
Oh
panic mode.
shit.
Like, a little alarm would fucking send us quick to the bunker.
Oh shit.
But then that alarm, after like a couple of months, 3 months, whenever we hear alarm, oh, something's going on. Let's grab our weapons, go to the bunker.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I want to ask you this because you're probably the only person I could ask and make sense about this question. All right.
Mhm.
Between Filipino culture and American culture, which culture do you think is more accepting with gay people?
American,
Yeah.
American, and I would say that all day. And so I was doing an interview with an army public affairs kind of like advertising.
Hmm.
And then they asked me what was the most common question that you always get about LGBT or about how you are as lesbian. And I told them the most popular question I get was, how do you deal with parents that are not accepting of being lesbian or
Mhm.
gays? And this is the same shit that I told my cousin when he was coming out. With Filipinos, we were so raised. We were raised in such a culture that it's so strict because we're so, like, I guess the religion is there as well, heavy. And I'm not, I'm not hating on that because I loved going to church when I was a kid. Um, it's harder for Filipinos because they don't think about who you are or what your happiness is. Like, they don't think about that. They just think what other people thinks.
Mm.
You know, um, they don't think about the potential of you going through depression because you're just not letting it out, or you just feel like you're just not yourself. But they think about other people and say that, hey, don't wear that because I don't want you to look dumb because other people will talk about you, right? So even now, there's still it's messed up because at this time of our generation, where LGBT is just flat out there in every part of the world,
Mhm.
Philippines is still one of those countries that will not even look at least civil unions for LGBT.
Hmm.
And that's because of the influence of, again, religion and the social norms in the Philippines.
Mhm.
And it's even harder for gays. It's even harder for gays to come out in the Philippines because, again, the social norms of being a guy is heavy.
Mhm. So macho mentality.
Yeah, like, you have to be macho. You have to be very manly. You have to have that fist, And my cousin one day, he asked me, he was going through some stuff. How did you come out of the closet? And I told him, like, bro, I didn't come out of any closet. I was already out before I even knew it. Like, I didn't wake up one day and said, I'm gonna go out of closet. I'm gonna talk to my mom and my dad and tell them I'm a lesbian. No, there was no conversation. I was just being true to
Mhm.
myself the whole time because they know the answer. They just don't want to hear it. They're not ready to hear it. Not that they don't want to hear it, they're not ready for it. And I told them, like, if you want to come out, come out. If that will make you feel free. It feels great, man. It feels great. But be ready for the repercussions. Be ready. And it's the repercussion is not going to come from other people. In the Filipino culture, it's not going to be from other people. It's from your family, from the people that you love, or the people that you think love you the most. And that's the truth. And it's not like because they chose to hurt us, it's because the way they were raised as well, the way they look at society as well, you know. And he's asking me if it's far better for him, if it's going to be better for him to come out. And I told him, if you're not ready, the fact that you're asking me, you're not ready. And this is why. I want you to graduate first. I want you to achieve the best things in your life first before you come out, because there's a reason behind it. Graduate, have a career, have your own place to stay, have your own cars, and fucking have your own money. Why? When you come home and when you all have this stuff and you come home and you tell them, I'm gay, they're not going to look at you as gay. I guarantee you that. They're going to look at you as a successful lawyer with your own life going on. Nobody's going to tell you shit. And I told him, get your shit together, because right at this moment, you're not getting your shit together. You're confused. When you come out now, I'm going to tell you what first thing's going to happen. They're going to look at you down. They're not going to remember you as somebody who went to Berkeley. They're not going to remember you as somebody who's a straight A student in high school. Fuck that, bro. They're not going to remember you as that. They're going to remember you as gay, because you haven't achieved anything in your life yet. As fucked up as it sounds, you have to achieve the best things in life first for you before you come out, because that's the only way that this society will not look at you differently. But if you want to come out, by all means, come out.
And did he?
Fuck it. Yeah, he just recently came out, but his brothers didn't react negatively about it. They didn't even want to talk about it. I guess they were just sad. My aunt was in denial, of course. But then, you know, as days go by, while I was talking to her, she was like, I really don't care if he's gay or what. I just want to make sure that he's good, you know, like he's not suicidal and everything. I was like, I'm glad you said that. So
good for him.
It went well for him. It went
Thank
well.
God he had you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best. I mean, I won't even say that's the best advice, but that's the advice that I can tell him.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Thanks for that. And you mentioned, are you legally married?
Yes.
Where did you guys get married?
Oh, we got married 3 times, bro.
God.
And I'm not kidding. I'm not making you laugh, bro. I married her 3 times. And this is the joke that I was telling her. Like, you ever question my loyalty and faith, my loyalty to you? Look at that 3 marriage certificates that we have. I said I do 3 times. So what happened was it's okay. This is going to be a little complicated then. So she was in the Philippines. I was in the States. So I told her, I got to get you here. We got to get married here. Right. So I went to USCIS, which is the immigration website. And I literally studied how to get a fiance if you are same-sex marriage. And this is right after Obama declared that same-sex is accepted all throughout the states.
Oh, you know what's funny? I didn't even realize that. Like, oh, just marry her and just bring her over. I'm like, dude,
dude. I wish it was that easy.
I was like, oh shit.
Oh, bro. That's why I said this is gonna be a little complicated to explain, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Before Obama declared the same-sex marriage being accepted in states, I was already thinking that, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the Philippines. I'm just gonna stop my military career because she's at the brink of letting me go because she thinks it's gonna work out with the long-distance relationship. And I can't blame her for that. And then for some fucking reason, one day I woke up. Obama was declaring that same-sex marriage is finally legal in all states.
Holy shit.
Dude, oh my God, right after that, like I went to USCIS, figured out my shit, and then I booked a flight to the Philippines. And she didn't know yet that I'm going to propose to her. So I went to the Philippines and I told her, it's not really a proposal. I didn't have a ring with me because it was so like everything was just so sudden. And I asked her, do you want to go to the States? And she was like, honestly, I don't have to go to the States. She was like, I'm sad. Like, I don't need the States. I'm good, bro. So I was like, let me change the question. Do you want to marry me? She was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, we can get married. That's the proposal I got, bro.
I guess we can.
Yeah, that's the best I can do, bro. It was so messed up. She didn't deserve that.
So much for planning.
I know, but I promised her that, like I'm legit gonna propose to her one day. But so in the Philippines, one of the requirements in USCIS is to show proof that our relationship is bona fide, of course. I know I couldn't marry her in the Philippines because there's no such thing as same-sex marriage in the Philippines, but there is a same-sex union ceremony in the Philippines.
Okay.
So we invited a priest, an actual priest that supports same-sex couple or same-sex marriage. And I invited a couple of my friends and we did the ceremony. And then I grabbed the certificate. I'm after the certificate, bro, just to prove. Grabbed the certificate and I was like, okay, fine, I'm good with this. Keep that. Went back to the States, filed the petition. And then as soon as I filed my petition, my orders to Korea showed up. Yeah. And I was like, literally, I looked up and I was like, are you on my side or not? Because it's been good so far. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, let me take that back. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I was thinking that, well, I can use my orders to expedite the process for the same-sex marriage because, military orders does a lot of magic in the government. So I filed for an expedite for a process. I forgot what it's called, but to expedite the process of the petition for the fiance. And then no shit, after like 2 weeks, USCIS responded with an approved fiance petition.
Wow.
Yeah, they approved it 2 weeks. So I was like, shit. Okay, now I got to start actually sending legit documents or legal documents to prove that our relationship is bona fide. I talked to 4 officers in the Army, and I talked to them because I was asking for a letter of recommendation to expedite the process. And they all, no shit, a chaplain, which is like a priest in the Army, he did, and this is why America is more accepting than the Philippines. He did a letter of recommendation to get my fiance.
See, God was like, what's up, bro? You questioning me? Here you go.
Exactly. So I was more surprised that he was like, yeah, of course I can do it. And I have all the letters, and like I said, if I can put it in a picture frame, I'll put it in a picture frame because that's when the Army really showed love to me, that they support me. Because you don't just go to your officer and ask those kind of shit, but they did it for me. So I sent up all the documents, letter of recommendations from my officers, and went to the brief. And then the lady was like, oh, so it's pretty fucked up, but Korea is the only country that is not accepting same-sex marriage for military right now. So I was in my head at that point, how can I make this better? So I was like, fuck it. I told Jen, I was like, babe, let's just take this bite, man. Let's just take this hit, but let's just do what the Army wants me to do. Okay, so went to Korea. It's a year tour. If you're single, it's a year. If you're married, it's 2 years. So I did talk about the first marriage. I'm gonna start talking about the second marriage now.
All right.
One day I was in Korea. We were going on a convoy, and I was the driver for a master sergeant that I didn't really like because he's a loudmouth. Yeah, and I was his driver, and it was just I thought it was awful, but it was actually a blessing in disguise. So this guy saw my ring, my engagement ring, and he was like, I didn't know you're married. And I was like, Master Sergeant, I'm not married. I'm engaged. Engaged? To who? I was like, to my fiance. Where's your fiance at? Because he thought it was a soldier.
Mm.
Oh, she's in the Philippines. And he was like, why is she in the Philippines? Why is she not here? Like, well, Korea, And he was like, well, that's kind of fucked up. It's America, like you should be good. I was like, yeah, but we're still considered visitors in Korea, which we are. So we follow their rules. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But he was like, have you heard about the proxy marriage? And I was like, negative. I don't know what a proxy marriage is. And I was like, well, technically, you're gonna hire two lawyers. You're gonna hire your lawyer, and she's gonna have her own lawyer, and they will sign your marriage certificate as a representative to your marriage.
Mm.
Even though you guys are far away, you guys can get married.
No way.
No shit. But you have to do it in a state that looks at it legally as a legal marriage.
Mm.
Because if you don't, then the army's not going to recognize it as a legal marriage. So I looked up some websites that does double proxy marriage, and I found one for the state of Montana. And legit, I emailed them and everything. I hired a lawyer. It costs a lot of money because I want, he was like, the master sergeant was like, get married and get your benefits as someone who's married, get the housing allowance, get your family separation going.
Yeah,
He's talking about money. I'm talking about love. He's talking about money.
yeah. But it's
That was
helping
good.
you.
Yeah, but it was good. It was like, save your money. So when it's time for you to go back to the States, you can buy her a plane ticket so you guys can go back to the States together. I was like,
Mm.
that made fucking sense. The guy that I was avoiding the whole time because I don't like his loud mouth is the same guy that actually gave me the best advice when it comes to like the issues that I was going through with marriage. So we did the proxy marriage. So that's considered two marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now my time in Korea is done. Now I'm going back to the States. My orders showed up for North Carolina. And it was funny because the army did look at her as my legal wife because her name was on my orders.
That's awesome.
So the army actually paid for her
That's
ticket.
amazing.
So now we're in the States. I'm going to start talking about the third marriage. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh my God. So when a fiance when a person is under fiance visa in the States, they have 90 days to get married to their U.S. citizen
Mm.
spouse. That's a law. If they miss that 90 days, they're going to get deported back to whatever country they came from, and they will never set foot in America. So as soon as she got to the States, I went in on USCIS, filed in for changing of status for my wife, which is from fiance to petition for a family member. And after a month, USCIS replied and said that they're not looking at the double proxy marriage as a legal document
Mm.
or a legal marriage. So I tried to fight it, but I was thinking about it again rationally. I was like, you know what? I'm not ready to argue with them. Right now, this is time sensitive. You have 90 days since started on the day that you got here. I'm not going to use that time to argue with them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to comply with what the fuck they want. We're going to do what they want us to do. We're going to get married again for the third time. And we'll submit that shit. And then when this shit is all over, that's when I go back and fucking, get this shit with them. So we got married. The fucked up part is the next day when I received the letter, the next day we got married. Because I was like, no, we're not gonna waste time anymore. Because you're like in the brink of getting deported.
Mm.
So I asked my boss, hey, can you give me a day off just for today? I actually want you to be my witness. So I asked two of my soldiers to be my witness,
Mm.
and then another random stranger at the court to be our witness. Yeah.
You weren't
Yeah.
holding a gun against their head, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's fuck it. Like I'm gonna do whatever they want me to do. I'm not gonna waste my time arguing with you guys. So again, the only place that we can get married legally at that time is it's like a jailhouse. It's like a prison court, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's kind of fucked up because our third marriage, is done in a prison. The guy that's actually giving us ceremony rights was the same guy that's giving like prayers and shit for like the criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, fuck it. Like, as long as we do this right this time, then fuck it, we'll do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next day, I submitted the marriage license. I called them like, hey, I complied with what you guys want and everything. I'm not gonna argue and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After a couple of months, they replied, and the reply was like, good to go, but we're gonna do an interview now. So I look at the date, and the date was exactly on the day that we're gonna be in the field. Like soldiers are gonna be in the field. So we went to Durham, North Carolina, for the interview. I had my camo like half like dirt and all that. Showed up.
Fucking Rambo over here.
Oh yeah, I showed up. Like I was stinky. I haven't had a shower for like a week. And my wife was like, you seriously gonna do this? Like, I'm fucking serious about this shit. I planned this shit. So I sat over there, and then for some fucking coincidence, the guy that was doing an interview for us, he was a U.S. Army veteran.
Mm.
So he saw me, he saw my rank, and he was like, hey, Sar, what's all the camo and stuff? And I was like, yeah, sir, we just, I came from the field. We were in the middle of a field training right now in North Carolina for the special operations and all that. And he looked at me like, he was like, he want to say sorry, but he don't. Yeah, it's like a guilt face. So he pulled out our packet. And no shit, it was like fucking, it was like 6 inches wide, like thick. And he was like looking at my 3 marriage certificates. And he asked me, why do you have 3 marriage certificates? Oh, okay. Let me explain what happened, sir. So the first one, don't even count that because that's a civil union in the Philippines. And Philippines doesn't look at same-sex marriage legally. That's fine. I just use that as a way to legally show that she's my fiance.
Yeah.
The second one, that is a double proxy marriage. Mm-hmm. And he was like looking at me. So why do you need the 3rd certificate? I don't know, sir. You guys were the one who told me to get a 3rd certificate. And he stood up. He grabbed the packet. He went to his supervisor, right? Remember, he's supposed to ask us to check how legit our marriage is. Mm-hmm. He came back. He came back and he was like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that you guys experienced this. And I'm not even going to ask you guys any questions now. You guys are feel free to go. Mm-hmm. And was like, Sergeant, as a way to apologize, I am expediting her green card. Oh. She will receive her green card the next week.
That's amazing. Wow. Thank you for the story. Unfortunately, we're at that time. I would love to talk to you more, but
nah, you good, bro.
We're good.
I told you I got stories like a book.
Is there anything would you like to add or topic that would you like to talk about before we close out?
I mean, not really. Well, everybody knows that I'm a lesbian. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but I am heavily connected to the LGBT community. We have a group as well in the Philippines that we support the LGBT community over there. And even here in the States, in the Army, like I'm one of the persons that they actually want to talk to those that are interested in the Army, but they're gay and lesbian. So if there's anybody that wanted to, hear my experiences as someone being lesbian in the military, in the U.S. Army, feel free to ask or what. They can ask you and then you can just relay the question to me. Mm-hmm. And that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again, Chris, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I wish it's not, I wish those stories are not crazy sound.
No. Trust me. It's good. It was awesome.
I'll let my brother know that I talked to you, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Chris, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. See you guys next week.